Cartoons, with drawings by a New Yorker magazine star, Harry Bliss, featuring captions by Steve Martin, the Steve Martin. How artist and writer came together makes for a funny story, as Mo Rocca will tell us.
And I kind of like this one. It made me laugh for like a day. Attila the Honey Bunch.
The man who has made millions laugh.
We are two wild and crazy guys.
Finds himself chuckling.
That word honey bunch kind of makes me laugh.
And the cartoon Steve Martin finds so amusing is one he helped create.
It was a completely unique experience. It's the precision of one thing.
Martin, who collaborated with New Yorker cartoonist Harry Bliss, calls cartooning comedy's last frontier.
This is a 1 second link between the picture and the words, or sometimes no words.
Yeah.
You know.
It's very concise.
He certainly covered a lot of ground in his half-century career. As a stand-up,
Oh no, I'm getting happy feet. Whoa!
as a star of classic film comedies,
Bring us some fresh wine, the freshest you've got. This year's, no more of this old stuff.
as a writer of movies, plays, short stories, novellas, a novel, and tweets. Did we mention his Broadway musical? Oh, and he also plays the banjo. I'm sure we've left something out, but we haven't got all morning.
You could just sort of rest on your laurels and take a victory lap, but something makes you want to keep doing something new.
I often think I don't have another idea in my head. I don't, and I'm fine. If I don't have another idea, I've got plenty to do. It's completely fine. And then you realize sort of something's going on, like with the cartoons. You go, oh, I guess I did. I didn't even realize it. And I also really liked, I guess there was a little bit of proving myself to myself by being able to come up with these little pinpoints of comedy.
Those pinpoints of comedy have become a book called A Wealth of Pigeons, but buyer beware.
The one complaint is that it's called A Wealth of Pigeons, but there are no pigeons in it.
Are there no pigeons? There must be a pigeon.
No, I'll tell you what it is.
Okay.
We had a cartoon we were going to draw called A Wealth of Pigeons, and the premise was you'd have a person in the park feeding the pigeons, and then there would be these very wealthy pigeons at the feet, and that was the joke. And suddenly we just thought, what an interesting title.
The other thing not found in the book?
I keep my politics to myself, and we're in an age where vitriol is extremely common. So if I, for example, tweet something the wrong way, and then you get all this vitriol, which I have no interest in.
Thank you. Please be seated.
Steve Martin's never really addressed politics with his comedy.
You know what I love about touring around with Marty Short? No paparazzi.
His recent touring act with Martin Short steered mostly clear of current events.
Martin Short and I, when we do our show, we don't do politics in our show because if you do a political moment, then you hear the audience goes boo, and then another side goes yay. There's suddenly this entity that it's at war with each other, and that's not why we're there. We're there to say, you paid this money, you're going to go home, and I want you to think that was the best show I've ever seen. That's what we want. We're not there to teach anybody anything. They get enough of that.
Martin, who lives in New York, and Bliss, who lives in New Hampshire, were introduced by an editor at the New Yorker magazine.
And the first two cartoons I think the one that you had sent was really funny, the opposable thumbs.
My wife kept saying, like why dogs don't have they have intelligence, but they don't have supreme intelligence because they don't have an opposable thumb. So I thought, I think I could make a cartoon out of that with a little dog sitting begging for money with a sign that says, I have no thumbs.
They worked over email, Martin sending ideas and captions, Bliss sending drawings.
If I write Harry and I say something like spaceship, he goes, ooh, I love to draw spaceships.
So did you love drawing the aliens and the crop circles and the food?
Absolutely.
Love that one.
Love that.
And back and forth it went, at all hours.
It's funny because sometimes I'll get an email from Steve with a cartoon idea, And, you know, I get up fairly early too, 5, 6 a.m., but sometimes yours will say 3 a.m. So it makes me laugh because I know, he woke up in the middle of the night to have this idea.
Oh, the thing I'd worry about is going back to sleep and then forgetting it once you wake up.
I went through many ideas how to make the note without waking my wife.
Oh my God, that's great.
First I bought a children's slate, like runs on a battery, so I could write in the night with no backlit thing. Then
Almost like an Etch-a-Sketch or something?
It's like an Etch-a-Sketch. You can write on it. And
It's
then
a little magnetic thing.
you press a button and it erases. And I did that. I wrote several ideas and accidentally pressed the button and it erased it. Then I went to paper, which rattles. And then I finally just went, okay, I'll use my phone and put the light way down low. But I found out if you don't write it down, you've lost it.
One nice thing about cartooning, Martin says, there are fewer people to please.
But what's the ultimate test? Is it if it makes you laugh or?
I think if it makes both of us laugh.
I think so.
That's our test.
Yeah.
If we like it. It's actually the first comedy that I've done where it didn't depend on the audience.
Some of the cartoons are unmistakably Steve Martin.
This one is impossible not to read in Steve's voice.
That's a good point. You're right, Mo. Yes. I think that's
It's great.
true. Yeah.
It's really funny.
Oh, great. That guy.
You did mention the idea of doing an audiobook for this.
No, I wondered if it was possible to do an audiobook where I would say, okay, there's a dog staring at a door, and the dog is thinking, bark or stare? Always a tough decision. Bark? Maybe stare. Whimper? Maybe. Meanwhile, stare.
But Steve Martin may not have time to record the audiobook. He and Bliss are already working on new material.
By the way, I did have an idea for a cartoon with a pun in it.
Yeah.
And I will usually never send you puns.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say it now here on television so I could be ridiculed all over the nation.
Okay.
And the cartoon was this. It's a exterior of a college building. And it says, College of Psychic Studies. And then there's a mother and a young woman, like an 18-year-old student there. They're talking to the professor, and the mother says, how much is the intuition to go here? I know, you can cut that. Cut that video.